I am George Schendel-Vyvoda, and I'm the director of the Lamasco Microgallery. I'm pleased to have artist and colleague and friend Nina Oberlin here to talk about her installation that will be at the Lamasco Microgallery from now until December 31st. And one of the exciting things is it's not just an exhibit, but it's the first exhibition. So Nina, thank you for your time.
Oh yeah, thank you for, inviting me to participate in the exhibit. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And one of the biggest questions I get is people are very interested to learn more about you and your story. And I'm curious if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about who you are as an artist and as a professional.
So I started doing kind of animation like around 2010. Started going to school to get my degree in animation. Kind of went on a long journey with that, trying to figure out like kind of what I like to do. Started off in 3D animation, switched over to traditional animation, and then ultimately ended up with stop motion animation because I like to build things and put stuff together. It's a lot of fun to create puppets and like sets and stuff, and that's kind of like what I've been doing for the last few years. Puppetry has only been the last year. I actually started learning how to do like actual marionettes and handmade puppets within the last year.
Oh, that's amazing. And so this exhibition is an adaptation of Scottish author George MacDonald. What was the inspiration behind that? Like, what draws you to the story in so much that you wanted to create this installation?
Well, the story, it was unique. It was different. I'd never heard it before. So it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of fun because no one's familiar with the Light Princess. It's one of those stories that just kind of never really got any traction in it. And it was kind of a unique, like the princess being cursed with no gravity. I mean, just seems kind of like an odd like curse or something, but for someone, not just to be able to float around. So it was just kind of fun to try something different. The knight's a little bit different. He's, more of a medieval kind of knight, not necessarily like, a typical prince that's just, walking around with nice attire or whatever. I just kind of wanted to do it a little different. And of course, I knew you really liked medieval stuff, so I wanted to kind of incorporate that in there. That was like the prince was my first one that I built. I'm like, I have to do a knight. It just seems right for someone who really likes medieval art. So that was kind of like my dedication to you.
Oh, bless you.
On that one. But I just liked the story. It was kind of fun. And doing this has kind of got me started on a process where I'm trying to figure out how I can actually incorporate it and make it into an actual play. I haven't quite figured out yet if it's going to be a stop motion or if I'll actually do marionette puppets for the whole thing. Depends on how difficult it would end up being. And then once I figure that part out anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just so our viewers have a little bit of understanding, can you tell us a little bit about the story, George MacDonald's story, and then we can read the about the exhibition when it comes to the physical display. But can you tell us a little bit about what that story is specifically about?
So the story is about a little girl who gets cursed, where she has no gravity. Her parents are trying to figure out how to solve the problem, and that no one can really figure it out. It's like everything that the king has his scientists try to do ends up being detrimental to her health.
Oh no!
Will more than likely make her die if they were to go through with their plans. So the king's like, no, this isn't gonna happen. So she just, is content with, going swimming in the lake every single day, and just because that's the only place she kind of feels like she has a sense of gravity. So that's like her desire. And the prince just happens to come across her while she's swimming, and he thinks she's drowning. So he tries to rescue her. And in the process, ends up throwing her in the air, and she starts to fly away.
Whoa.
So she like tries to bring herself down, and they become friends and spend a lot of time in the lake hanging out, and just because she likes the idea of being able to have someone who and to be enjoy time with her. And then her aunt decides to curse the lake because she finds that the princess is having way too much fun. She doesn't like that idea.
Oh no.
Yeah. So she cursed the lake so that it will drain. And then unfortunately, if it drains, so does kind of like the life of the princess kind of fades with it. So they try to figure out a way to solve the problem. And then when they do figure it out, someone has to sacrifice their life in order to stop the lake from draining.
Oof.
And then that's where the princess discovers her strength and being able to rescue the prince who was actually going to sacrifice his life for the princess. But she ends up in the end being the one to save him and herself, and then the lake from drying up and saving the kingdom.
And she is successful right at the end?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yeah, she's successful. Yeah, she is able to save herself and the prince and breaks the curse. And then because the curse gets broken, she starts crying and it refills the lake up completely because she never cried her entire life.
Wow. So she gets her gravity back. She gets all that baggage out, and then she's ready to go on about life, and I suppose, huh?
Right. Then she's got to figure out how to walk because she's never used gravity. So it's like a whole new skill.
Wow, I can imagine. That's amazing. And so with this inspiration and impetus, what is one of the biggest takeaways that you would like a viewer who comes to the micro gallery, sees this installation? What's a takeaway you would like for someone to have when they experience this marionette, interact with the story, and then think about the original author's story?
I think the biggest takeaway I would hope that anyone has is to go find a puppet show. Go find one where you can see the marionettes in action and see how much fun they are to work with and how the artists interact with them. I think that is what I really would like for people to do is like, I know in mine is I'm not there to make them work, but it would be nice for them to be able to go to a show and see how they work and how much fun the artists have manipulating them and making them come to life.
Yeah. So do you think then that the art form of the puppet itself is undervalued or underappreciated in mainstream generalized fine arts?
I do. I think it's underappreciated. It's people don't view it as an art. They view it as just as a performance. I mean, we know we have performance art, but for some reason, a lot of people don't have, I guess, the attitude that it is a form of art. You have to create these things. You hand carve them, you paint them, you make their little clothes, you kind of bring them to life. They become an extension of kind of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
So I think it's an art that's kind of died off a lot. I mean, it's now finally starting to hit a little bit of a resurgence, but it still has a long way to go.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And so out of curiosity, are you doing other shows and raising advocacy for the fine art of puppet making and puppeteering?
For the last couple months, I've been working with the Portland Puppet Museum here locally, and I've been helping him with doing props and fixing puppets and doing new clothes. So we've been working on a lot of like helping them out to keep their shows going because he does a lot of regular shows. I'm still building on my puppets because I only have a few at the moment, and it takes a little while to make them all. So I'm still building up mine, whereas he has a lot of them. So I've been helping him to get his shows up and running and to help spread the word and share all the different shows that are coming locally.
Yeah. Yeah, because you mentioned that it took 4 months to make these 3-inch puppets. How long does it take to make that one full-scale puppet, let alone a marionette, a full-scale puppet? So do you even need to be larger in size?
It takes about double the time of
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, I had one that I was working on before the little miniatures. That one took me 6 months, and that one was just a head, a body, and then arms because she was a rod puppet, so she didn't have like the body and the legs. She just had like an upper torso, a rod, and then arms. And that one took me 6 months
Wow,
to
that's impressive.
complete. It's because it's all hand carved with the wood. I mean, if you were going to do a different medium, it might not take as long, but since I chose wood, it takes a little bit longer.
That makes sense. So Nina, out of curiosity, do you have any parting words for or any parting advice for anybody who's interested in getting into puppet making?
Um, just try it. Try something simple. There's so many I'm trying to think of the word. There's so many like YouTube channels you can go watch that shows you how to make. Like you can, if you like Muppet puppets, they show you can build your own.
Hmm.
If you like hand puppets, there's so many tutorials out there to just try it. I mean, if you have an idea for something, just go for it. It's a
Hmm.
lot of fun.
Hmm.
And sometimes you can just find a sock in your drawer and make something with that. Put some little eyes and a mouth on it. Just,
Hmm.
I mean, you can have a lot of fun. I mean, if you're interested at all, just try it and find a group that does it.
Hmm.
Join, because they'll be your inspiration.
Yeah. And you did touch a little bit on the fact of that you think that the art is coming um, more full circle and more embedded into the fine art movement. What do you see for the future of puppeteering and puppet making?
I'm hoping to see it more mainstream, more movies, more
Mm-hmm.
shows, and not just kid shows. Adult shows too,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of things you can do with puppets. I mean, we have stop motion, and that's been coming back a lot more. It would be nice to see more marionettes or puppets on the big screen. Is what I'm hoping to start seeing.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, thank you for sharing your perspective and thank you for sharing your artwork with us. We are so excited for this installation, and our community has had nothing but uh, excitement and love and support for it. So, thank you so much for considering doing an exhibition with us and for making our first show a complete success. So, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making making each little piece. It was a lot of fun, and it was a learning experience for me as well.
Yeah. I feel like it always is a learning experience, particularly in these small spaces, because I was thinking about the installation process, and I've been very lucky to have curated 10,000 square feet spaces to 200-inch square spaces. I've never done 20 inches, and even that was a excellent learning curve that, it doesn't matter the size, the methodology is still the same, and it's still going to take time, and
Hmm.
the beautiful chaotic mess that engulfs the house never changes.
Yep, that is very true.
Whether it be a large gallery installation or a small one, the same processes are there and time commitment. So thank you for that learning experience
Yep.
as well. All right, Nina, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you. I appreciate it, and I wish I could be there to see everybody. Maybe sometime in the future we can do a fun little exhibit of like just going and building some puppets together. It would be amazing.
So the nice thing is the show's up for 15 weeks, so maybe we'll have to see what we can do and have a workshop if we can.
Yeah, that would be amazing. All
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
right, thanks.